Imagine a blank radar screen for a second. Normally, right, a new airline shows up as just a single solitary blip. One aircraft flying one route, kind of slowly building up a network over years, or honestly, even decades. But what exactly happens when a brand new carrier tries to just absolutely flood that radar screen all at once, literally across the entire globe? It's a logistical puzzle that totally defies traditional industry logic. I mean, how does a startup airline starting from absolute zero prepare to serve over 100 global destinations practically overnight? Finding the aircraft, locking down those heavily restricted airport slots, and just building the entire infrastructure out of thin air. That is a monumental task. Welcome back to Air Flight Space, where we dive into aviation stories, air safety investigations, industry developments, and the crucial lessons shaping modern flight. In today's explainer, we're looking at an absolute masterclass in aggressive market entry. So, our subject today is Riyadh Air. They're a Saudi Arabian startup carrier that's right now in this super critical phase of transitioning from, just a concept on paper into a fully physical globe-spanning operation. And honestly, the way they're doing it is turning heads across the entire aviation industry. Now, at first, everything seemed perfectly normal. A new national airline was announced, which is something we see periodically around the world. But as aviation analysts started looking really closely at the initial filings and procurement data, they noticed something highly unusual. See, it wasn't the routes themselves that were shocking. It was the staggering, totally unprecedented scale of their initial operations. Just consider the fleet for a second. 72. That's the number of state-of-the-art Boeing 787-9 wide-body aircraft Riyadh Air ordered straight out of the gate. And just for some context here, these aren't your typical small regional commuter jets. The 787-9 is a highly advanced, long-haul heavyweight. To launch an airline with an order of up to 72 of these twin-aisle jets, that is a massive, massive display of financial muscle and operational intent. So, the really crucial point is how all this hardware actually translates to the map. 100. That's their stated intent, to operate to more than 100 destinations by the year 2030. Keep this detail in mind. Scaling a complex, long-haul fleet to over 100 destinations in just a few short years, that is an incredibly steep operational climb. Now, as we all know, in aviation, delays are kind of the norm, right? Supply chain issues, regulatory hurdles, crew training, all of that usually pushes launch dates backwards. But with Riyadh Air, we're actually seeing the exact opposite. The early warning signs of their massive market disruption are showing up in their rapidly accelerating timeline. Take a look at this. Their full-service launch to London Heathrow was originally planned for July 1st, but they've actually brought that date forward to June 10th. And given that landing slots at Heathrow are, rarer and often more expensive than gold, advancing a launch date there is virtually unheard of. And on top of that, they're quickly layering on even more capacity, with a completely separate UK service to Manchester kicking off on July 23rd. But this strategy goes way deeper than just getting to London. Adding Manchester reveals a really sophisticated network strategy. This isn't just about flying passengers point to point from Saudi Arabia to England. No, it's about establishing a dedicated northern UK gateway. And they're going to be operating this route 3 times a week. The real question, though, is where are those passengers actually going? Well, Riyadh Air is positioning their home base as a major transport hub. They're specifically targeting passengers up in the north of England who need onward connections to key Asian destinations, specifically places like Islamabad, Dhaka, Lahore, and Mumbai. They're essentially creating this massive funnel, drawing traffic right away from those traditional European hubs. And Chief Executive Tony Douglas made their intentions perfectly clear here. He stated, "This route has been carefully selected to serve a key market for connecting the north of England to the Middle East, aligning with our ambition to become a global airline and a significant contributor to Vision 2030. Now, here's exactly why this matters. Vision 2030. You're going to hear this term a lot when analyzing modern Middle Eastern aviation. It's this sweeping Saudi government initiative designed to basically diversify the nation's economy and deeply integrate it into the global market. So Riyadh Air isn't just a standard business venture, it's literally a critical infrastructure tool mandated by a national directive to connect the kingdom to the rest of the planet. Up until recently, a skeptic could easily argue that Riyadh Air was just a paper airline. Lots of really impressive announcements, ambitious route maps, and flashy CGI marketing, but no real metal in the sky. But the key discovery that completely shifts this entire narrative, the hardware is finally meeting the ambition.
The physical reality has officially touched down. The airline has now received the first pair of those custom-built Boeing 787-9s. And they aren't just sitting around on the tarmac either. They've already commenced early flights to cities including Jeddah and Cairo. These preliminary operations are absolutely crucial. It's how they stress test their systems, train their crews, and prove their dispatch reliability right before that massive global rollout.
Marking the arrival of these aircraft, Tony Douglas noted, "To see our very first custom-built 787s touchdown in Riyadh is a historic moment for us and a momentous day for Saudi aviation. Not only are we building an airline, we are opening a new gateway to the world from the heart of the kingdom." It's a powerful statement, and it really underscores exactly how much weight is riding on these specific airframes.
So, what can we actually learn from this story? When we look at the accelerated launch dates, that highly strategic route mapping through Manchester, and the arrival of these first wide-body jets, what's the core lesson here for the aviation industry?
The big takeaway is this. Riyadh Air is proving that the traditional model of slow, incremental growth, it's not the only way to build an airline. Their strategy relies on an absolutely massive, unprecedented upfront hardware investment, paired with an aggressively accelerated route network. They are effectively buying their way into instant global scale, utilizing top-tier aircraft to immediately compete with legacy carriers on day one. It is a bold, super high-stakes approach to market entry, and it's completely reshaping how we view airline economics. Thanks for checking out Air Flight Space. If you found this explainer informative, please leave a like and subscribe for more aviation investigations. But it really leaves us with one massive question to think about. If a brand new carrier can simply buy their way to instant global dominance, what does that mean for all the legacy airlines who took decades to get there? Is the era of slow airline growth officially dead? Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one.